You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, babies. This is Austin Powers, and you're listening to droidscanada.com. Oh, it's very groovy.
I'm on there, go, man. Listen, man. I'm listening to droidscanada.com, man.
I'll tell you, this is Rodney. Droidscanada.com is the only one that gives me respect. Are you kidding?
It's like, I listen to, like, droidscanada.com. These guys are, like, really, they're really cool.
What the hell's droidscanada.com?
They're really, like, really happening, you know?
I don't think so. I think they suck.
Shut
up, Beavis.
I'll tell you something, you guys. Droidscanada.com. I'll tell you that when I listen to them fucking guys, I think they're all right. You know what I'm saying, huh? You know, if you want to get some great fucking entertainment, these are the guys you gotta listen to. Droidscanada.com. The fucking guys are celebrating 5 years of podcast greatness.
Warning. Listener discretion is advised.
That means there's a lot of fucking swearing.
Hello.
Take three.
Take three.
Take three. Is it going to happen? Are we actually going to get through this podcast?
You wouldn't have shut up during the last one.
You shanghaied it.
I admit at one point I shanghaied it.
1 point?
At one point, yes.
What?
I admitted to Shanghai my Tim Hortons rant.
So what's this episode about? This episode is about Michelle Rodriguez was recently under fire. And it hurts me to say, I agree.
I agree too.
I agree. She recently posted a, I don't know if it's a blog or a video. We watched the Aftermath video.
Yes. It was the kind of apology. I think she originally had posted it on Twitter.
Right. Let's see if I can find that. She basically stated that because of this whole white minorities in Hollywood thing, it's so stupid. Said 36-year-old actress, stop saying all the white people superheroes, make up your own. And this goes beyond this. This is just finally someone saying stop.
Stab.
And this is something that I've been talking about for a long time as well. Like I don't care. It's not a matter of race or anything to that effect. It's just sometimes changing something is not in the best interest.
It's the idea of the story behind it. And it's this whole we have to be PC bullshit is what it is.
Be PC.
We have to be PC. We have to include, everybody and make it happy for everybody. Because if you don't, someone's going to get offended.
I'm offended that you're offended.
Yeah, and I'm offended that you're offended that I'm offended.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
4 words that people can offend everybody.
Hey, I thought it was good.
It was good. This goes back to, and this is splitting hairs, and say what you would like, but this goes back to even when Michael Clark Duncan was the Kingpin. Yes. It was not a good suit, and it has nothing to do with the fact that he was black. He was hot at the time because of Green Mile.
Yep.
And they're like, well, he's a big dude, let's put him in.
And that was basically it. Who else are you going to put into that role?
Someone else that actually can act the role, because to me...
I agree, but they you're right. They did, aside from him being black, he was the perfect size.
Well, yeah.
He was the right build. Well, mind you, Kingpin in the comics is fucking huge.
Massive.
He's massive. Like, that doesn't even do it justice, but without CGIing him into that movie, that's the closest fit you're going to get.
We need to add 50 more pounds around his neck. Pretty much. Like, he was a big dude.
He has no fucking neck.
No neck, and he was, in the comic book, he was a very fat dude, but he was a very fat, muscular dude.
Yeah.
And that kind of made him terrifying, because, Daredevil had so many run-ins with him, and anything he would do against him was borderline ineffective. But then you had Michael Clark Duncan, and it's not just that. It's just anything in general. It's like, well, this guy's hot at the time, so maybe we should use him. Not always the best of ideas. Like, look at Catwoman as a shining example. And it's going to sound bad because Halle Berry was black. Has nothing to do with Halle Berry. She was just hot at the time, and they're like, this is going to work, let's put her in. And then
it was shit.
And it was absolutely shit. They were just trying to rush it.
No one talks about it. But you know what? Catwoman's not talked about.
But when they do the formula correct, everyone thinks the movie is shit. Like Ray Stevenson was the Punisher in Warzone. They portrayed the real Punisher, and everyone's like, this movie is shit. It is too violent. Have you not read a Punisher comic?
Where have you been?
This is the real Punisher. Well, Tom Jane was better. Well, Tom Jane's Punisher was a PG-13 Punisher compared to what the Punisher truly is. But now it goes into the newer part of the storylines is everyone's freaking out over Spider-Man right now.
Spider-Man getting the okay, you know, going from
which is great news.
Marvel and Disney back to Sony.
Yep.
Getting back into the MC or the other way around.
It's the other way around. He's going from Sony. He's got permission to be in the MCU.
MCU, yes.
And that's huge because now we get to see a huge storyline, which I never read before. I read it on Thursday. I read the entire Civil War series. I think it'd be pretty fantastic.
So now the big debate is with Spider-Man going to the MCU. Is it going to be Peter Parker or is it going to
be... Parker! I had to because I actually remember those comic books and they started introducing
I brought it up earlier.
I know!
Off mic, and at that point it was Peter Parker, the Amazing Spider-Ham. Absolutely hilarious. Yes. And then, of course, it spawned us talking about the entire Spider-Verse.
Yeah, because you know what? I never realized how much you are a Spider-Man fan.
I am not a big Spider-Man fan. I know of it, and I'm familiar with some of them. Have I read them all? Hell no.
I'm more... See, here's the thing. When I was a Spider-Man fan, I was a Spider-Man fan during the McFarlane days. And because of that gap was bridged over the Spawn for me because I was already a diehard McFarlane fan. And then when Spawn was born, as a black superhero...
Oh.
Who is pretty fantastic. See? That formula worked.
It did.
They didn't try changing... Well, they did in the comic book eventually because... Al Simmons committed suicide and then... But they didn't replace him because they needed to replace him. They just did a storyline arc. But now with Spider-Man, they got this guy named Andrew Garfield, in my opinion, plays a good Spider-Man. I think he plays a good Spider-Man.
I didn't mind him as Spider-Man. I thought the two reboots were better.
Better than Tobey Maguire?
Better than Tobey Maguire's.
To me,
as a Spider-Man, I prefer Garfield over Maguire.
I felt like he played more... Yeah, he felt like Spider-Man.
I just thought the storyline in the second one with Electro sucked ass.
Yeah, well, no one's perfect.
Yeah.
But see, that's a character that was doomed to fail anyways. It didn't matter that Electro was going to be black or white or Latino. The character was just so badly built from the get-go. Like, it didn't matter who played him.
And I'm still a fan of the classic costume.
Oh, the green with the little fucking starfish on his head?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the way we were brought up with Electro. And then we get this, like, neon
throwing
blue...
semen at everyone. Take my cum! Oh, my God.
It
was weird.
It hurt my head.
The concept behind it, I'm going to give him kudos because it was fresh and it was new. Poor delivery. Poor execution. But we got to see Gwen Stacy die, which upset me because I'm a huge fan... of Emma, and she is not a good blonde. She is always going to be a redhead to me, which is very upsetting. But now, going into this, Miles Morales is not in Civil War whatsoever. It is Peter Parker. And they're like, wow, we're going to make a Miles Morales. But why? Why do you need to change it? And it's not because it makes sense. It's because it's going to be the PC shit. That's what it feels like to me. Yeah. Why don't you bring in Spider-Gwen? You got Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen.
You have Film Noir.
You've got Silk.
Yep, you got Spider-Woman.
Spider-Woman.
You have the British Spider-Man.
Yes. House of M, 2099.
Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
Peter Parker. There you go, yeah.
Imagine that would fuck
Peter Parker in Civil War?
Why don't we make Captain America black? Wait, we did.
Oh, yeah, they did.
He's Falcon.
Falcon now, yeah.
But that makes sense, though. That crossover made sense.
That story arc.
That story arc made perfect sense on why that happened. And the Thor is now a female thing. That's a completely different can of worms, which made sense. It wasn't like a
story based,
but it was story arc based, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Is that they're Hollywood just changing things up because they're like, well, this person's hot right now, and it doesn't matter if they're black, white, or whatever. Blah 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 blah. We're gonna put them in there, and then it's still gonna upset the universe, though. Yeah. It's like I don't know why they had to have this conversation. Like, should it be Peter Parker or Miles Morales? I'm like, well, storyline wise, it's Peter
but
Parker.
we all know how storyline works in Hollywood when it comes to comic books. It doesn't because they need to make money.
That's right.
And they say, oh, we have this well-established story from 20 15, 10 years ago. Here's, a year and a half of the writers that have this story. It's all laid out for you.
Yep.
It's perfectly mapped.
Yep.
Nope, we're not going to touch it. We're going to say, we're going to make our own.
Hollywood could be, and it goes to what Michelle Rodriguez is that people need to stop being lazy. Stop trying to change things the way they are and make your own shit.
Yep.
Like, you want to have a Latino or a black superhero? There's lots of them.
There's lots.
Pick one of them or make your own.
Yeah.
Absolutely make your own. Like, look at Birdman. Birdman is a fantastic movie. You haven't seen it yet. I do recommend it. Fantastic film. Spawn was his own character. No one changed him around. He works just fine. But
we're not going to talk about Green Lantern.
Well, that's where to go to. Is the reason what spurred off this whole debate is Michelle Rodriguez was being asked to be a Green Lantern. That's what started it all.
Well, that can spawn, and that kind of goes into similar to the Spider-Verse, because the Green Lantern Corps is huge.
Yes, they are.
There is a wide variety. There's not just humans. There's all kinds of alien races in there. So technically, a Latino Green Lantern is perfectly viable.
Yep.
Is there a storyline on one in the comics books now? No. Could very easily be, though.
Absolutely. There could be. There's many different ways you can go with that.
You
but
had
it just
Hal
felt
Jordan, then the next one, I believe, was black.
Yeah, it was the Black Lantern.
I was never a Green Lantern fan, but I know that they did change over the years.
But Lantern wasn't marketable, though. They put Ryan Reynolds in, which
because he was hot at the time.
He is a heavy hitter. When he touches a movie, everyone will go see it because he is Ryan Reynolds. And even with Ryan Reynolds' name, they're like,
because at that point the story behind it sucked.
And I'm not saying Lantern's not marketable. I've never sat there and go, oh, I absolutely need to see a Green Lantern film. Unless it's Fillion, then I'll go see it because Fillion makes anything good.
Fillion's good, but yet you won't watch Castle.
Got too many shows in the go right now.
Oh, don't even I'm gonna punch you right now.
Punch you right in the fucking mouth. But I just feel like, and I have to agree, there's a lot of valid points, and the fact that she took so much fire from it. So she's not allowed to have her own personal opinion now? Mm-hmm. Oh, this is the internet.
Yeah, welcome interwebs.
This is the internet.
Flame
We're not allowed
wars.
to have her own fucking opinion, God forbid. But, God, the internet's been created for two reasons: jerking off to porn and bitching about everything else in the world.
Don't forget posting cat pictures on Facebook.
Oh, good. You remember that joke? Good.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I was watching that episode at midnight.
It's a great one.
I think it was to the creator of the internet, what he didn't see coming. It was the cat pictures.
Cat pictures, yes.
Fucking cat
he saw
pictures.
porn coming, but not kittens.
Not kittens.
No.
Well, it made perfect sense about the porn. Like, everyone saw that one coming from a mile away. I just feel that we spend so much time trying to change everything when you can just perfectly leave it alone. Like, Suicide Squad wasn't a huge thing. Like, they changed Deadshot to be black, which is Will Smith. But it wasn't an end of the world kind of thing because Deadshot is Deadshot. Not many people cared about Deadshot, like, to begin with. So, should they have left him white? It doesn't matter.
Why not get the guy who played Deadshot in Arrow?
Yeah.
That kind of goes back to that topic and Flash and everything else.
You don't want to use the proper people to do things.
Yeah.
Because eventually there's going to be Green Arrow in a Justice League movie, and it will not be Mel.
No, we know. We
so
know.
Frustrating.
We've had this discussion before.
Because it comes down to sometimes Hollywood needs to look outside the box of, okay, we need to have the Brad Pitts and we need to have George Clooney. It's like, remember the time George Clooney was Batman?
He was Batman? What? No.
And his nipples.
Oh, wow.
And then Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, we got to have him Mr. Freeze. Why? Because he's hot. No!
Freeze.
So when we look back at this, it's not about race or sex or anything. It's what Hollywood's like. They're hot. We have to do it. It's not always a good idea.
No.
Even Jim Carrey as Riddler.
He's Ventura on acid.
No.
Bad idea.
No. So that's pretty much all I had to say about that. I was just kind of like,
Do you want to talk about the other information about Catwoman and kind of what's going on there?
Sure.
I don't know if you want to touch on that.
What's that?
The recent, panels and everything in the comic that she is now effectively out of the closet as a bisexual.
Doesn't surprise me. The way how her character has always been portrayed in the comic. And now, keep in mind, when you look down at this collection, this has been amassed only in the last year. But, just from what I've been reading, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't change how I look or how I feel towards Catwoman. Right. I mean, Catwoman has always had a thing for Batman, but I mean, at the same time, though, it's not surprising. Like,
but it's gonna go. Why hasn't Twitter blown up about this?
Because Twitter doesn't care when two girls kiss or have something out of a cup.
But when it's two dudes in the
Why are we going back to that podcast?
Well,
that was 2 podcasts ago.
That's the idea.
Why are we going back?
Just to revert.
Are we taking this back?
No, we're not taking this back. But yet, Catwoman coming out. Everyone and all the geeks and everything appear to be okay with that. There's no
because
problem.
They don't care.
You were talking about Barbara Gordon as well.
Yeah.
As Batgirl and.
Well, she wasn't Batgirl. This is the mother.
What's that?
This is the mother.
Oh, okay.
This is the mother. So the mother, which is will be eventually James Gordon's taco bump.
Yeah.
Where I'm going with that. She is now, like we said in the other podcast, now she was gay at one point. Now she's reformed. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Like I said in the other podcast, it doesn't change how I feel. Because I look at it as that relationship was obviously an affair or whatever. Whatever. It's not like it's 2 girls.
Right.
Like everyone. You would open that can of worms again. I always will find it humorous that 2 men have a relationship. It's considered a sin. 2 women, unless it's a Baptist family,
Western Baptist Church, I think it is.
It is not considered a sin because at least Western Baptist Church or whatever have their shit together and consider everything as a sin, and there's no. Great lines. Like
I'll show you a video later, and it's fantastic.
I'm not saying I agree with them whatsoever, but they don't go. They don't pick and choose. They're kind of like, no, you're all fucked. You're all going to hell. Yeah. And it just goes back to society because we watch these TV shows. Like we are the MTV generation. We watch much music, and sex sells has always been a huge thing. But never did you see a music video 2 guys bumping and grinding and kissing. Never. No. But if it was women. That music video sold. It's perfectly fine. And how many times did you watch Electric Circus?
Quite often.
Exactly. You weren't watching for the music.
No.
Unless Darude Sandstorm came on and then you bust out in the groove.
Oh, maybe.
Everyone busts out to Sandstorm.
Everyone's not so much anymore because I might break a hip.
Oh, you're not that old yet, are you?
No, I'm getting there.
Jesus. Your beard hasn't wilted yet,
so
we're okay.
The beard is fine. It's the knees and the hips.
But anyways... That's the end of this podcast. Chimchanga.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Thanks for listening to the Droids You Are Looking For podcast. Stay tuned for next week's podcast.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.